All right. Let's quickly get into more of Power BI reports. I believe the lectures has been interesting so far, and I'm really glad that you've um, come to this extent. I know it's not really been easy to put your heads together, dragging and dropping, putting colors, changing font sizes, colors, and pasting formats, a whole lot of things that has been going on before now. I mean, the last video was actually very long, and the last video was actually very long, and I'm really glad that you're able to pull through. So this part of the class is going to be a very brief one, straight to the point, and it's not going to be far from what we've discussed before. We are going to be adding few things to what we've said. And why I'm doing this is that I really want you to understand the concept of Power BI. I want you to know how to play around these tools, the different features that comes with the Power BI. I mean, Power BI is a very large, is a powerful software that once you know how to handle it, you would come up with something um, so beautiful. I mean, something different from what everyone is doing there in the industry. Yeah, I love designs and I love good designs, not just all designs. I love good designs. And I believe working with any industry, the industry you're working in, we would like to see that creativity part of you coming up. I mean, you should come out with something new, something beautiful, something more interactive. And that is basically the basics of what you are going to be doing. Now, if you understand what we'll be covering in this um, class, I is going to put you on a pedestal to, get yourself, play around some other tools, even fetching your data set and building dashboard all from scratch. All right, so let's quickly get started. Now, while building reports, you would always be coming across these pages. What I mean by pages is navigation. Now, this is a summary of, let's just say, this is a summary of everything that happens in this company. I mean, that happen in the company, such as just a look at this. We can tell the number of categories we have. I mean, each of the courses from data science to game development, and we can even filter the enrollment date. Okay, to see the number of instructors that signed up or that listed a course on their platform, and then the total sales generated and the average hour, total average hour, then the total number of students, as well as the total course or total courses. Now, having looked at this, we would be creating a different report, and this report is basically for students. I mean, it's a design for students. So what you would do, I would duplicate this. So let's quickly duplicate this. I'll close this student here. I'll have to delete this because we don't want to start designing the page from scratch. So we can have a duplicate here, and then we just rename this to students. So this is statistics or the reports for students. The only few things we may have to do here is by adjusting or removing some visuals, which we may not really need here, right? Adjusting this. For example, um, you will likely remove all these total courses, total students and, average hours and blah, 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 blah. So what you may want to do here is that we may want to get to know the total number of enrollments. Take note that the number of enrollments is different from the number of students, right? So this is because a student can enroll in about 5 courses, right? So that is for a single student. But when we talk about the number of enrollment now is 5, not 5 students, but 1 student to 5 different enrollments. Now we may want to check the how many students got enrolled in the company. So let's make adjustment to our total students. Instead of total student, just click on there and then go to format your visuals, go to the title and just rename this to total. Oh, just clean it and enrolled, right? Then for the visuals, this is the count, that's the unique count of the students. Well, we'll be changing from the unique count as the distinct count to the total count, which is about 6,091 enrollments. Okay, now let's create a visualization for this. So we go to visualization and then we pick this line chart. All right, so we have a line chart here, and then we have this date hierarchy. That's for the number of the date of enrollment. And since from our data set, all the students got enrolled in the year 2024, that's from the 1st of January 2024 to about September 29, 2024. So we can just pick here for the month. So the month will come up to this x-axis. For the y-axis, we want to pick the number of students. That we can use student ID. So by default, it's moved us to legend. So just drag this legend from here to the y-axis, and then we have this graph. So we can adjust our graph. Okay, and then go to format. We go to general effects. We turn off the background, and we can also remove the y-axis. We turn off the title here, and then also for the x-axis, let's turn off the title. So these are the different months from the month of January to the month of September. If you take your mouse here, you can see the count of student ID. So there are about 629 enrollment in the month of August, and we can find that here. Now, if I happen to click on June, so we have here about 716 students enrolled. You notice that once I click on this, we will not be having any changes in our summary dashboard. Basically, I'm not going to be covering that in this class, but we are going to be looking at that, what is called drilling. So we drill a filter from a particular page such that when we filter on a page, we can drill that through and across several other pages. So for the student report, in the month of January, we had about 652 enrollments. Okay, now let's further make some other adjustments to our data. All right, so we may want to take off these cells. We don't really want to see cells here. We want to place a visual here, such as a column chart. And what we'll be doing here is to represent the course progress. Clicking on the course progress, so we can see students that started, students that didn't really start, and how many students have completed. Now, so let's click on student ID again, and we'll be looking at the count of it. So let's move this to the y-axis. And on the y-axis, we are looking at the whole count. We are not just looking at the unique or the distinct counts. We are looking at the total count of people, and to check how many of them are still in progress, because a student can actually buy a course, up to 5 courses, and has only started one. In that case, we want to include all the enrollments for that particular student to know which of the courses he has completed. And we may not really need the total courses here anymore. We don't really need that because we have it already in the summary. And we may likely want to move this up a little bit. Let's push this up. Let's push this up again. And then we can push all this up. And then we can bring this down. Then at the general and then at effect, turn off the background and make some adjustments. Go to visuals. For the x-axis, we turn off this title. Then for the y-axis, you can turn off this title. Okay, let me uncheck this. And then for the title of this bar chart, we can come over here, go to visuals, go to title. Then we rename this to course progress, student course progress. We centralize, we bold. We can as well as use another font style called the Sergio UI bold. And then we may also want to get, for example, data labels. You want to switch on the data labels such that the data labels will be just above the cap here, we can see. And then once you open this, we can further customize the values of that data labels. Can make it bold, all right? And also, there is something we can also do. The position here is showing auto. We can put it inside the end, but let's just leave it automatic, outside here. Please do ensure you save your work by pressing the Ctrl S. And we may want to delete this average hour. Okay, and we may want to remove this. So I think our chart is taking shape and we have the course progress. We don't really need these instructors. So what does this graph tell us? Now, how many students are still in course progress? We have it to be about 4,989 students. Okay, then if you check on students that have not yet started, we can see them here, 571. And we can see this one to be 531 students. Okay, now if you want to check in the month of June, we can see that the number of students that are still in progress, that have not finished their course, you can see the highlighted section. The highlighted section is about 596. So the highlighted section are the number of students that are still in progress. Now, for the students that have not started, in the month of June, we had about 69 students that have not started the course yet. And then if we check the students that have completed the course, they were about 51. So comparing all this, we get to see that in the month of June, we had 51 students who completed their course. They completed the course and then there was a certificate of completion issued to them. Same thing applied to the month of July. Okay. Then let's shift this demarcator and place it down here. And then we move this up a little. So let's push this up a little. You can place different elements here. This is just to represent and show you how to build your dashboard. Now, the next thing we are going to be doing in the next class is by adding what is called navigation menu, such a way that once you click on a navigation menu, you will be taken to a different page. So that therefore means I will be having a button here called the summary, and then we have another button called the student. Now you can decide to create your own. This can be like an assignment to you. You create another page for your report, and that report will be specifically for instructors. That means you can have the summary and then report for students and even report for sales. The transactions on the website, and maybe another report for the instructors of the platform. So this is where I'm going to be stopping. As I said before, in the next class, we will look at creating paginations in our Power BI dashboard report. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in our next class.